Can we give Camille some grace, everybody? We're talking about Married at First Sight, Camille. Hit the like and subscribe button as the intro plays. Okay, so this was the episode, the party episode where each couple invites over their friends and the friends have these uncomfortable, unnatural conversations to get to the meat and potatoes of it all, to see, are you really liking my friend? Are you going to treat my friend? Are you going to treat my sister, my cousin? Right? That's this episode.
Well, she's a lot better than that first wife you married.
They all have these parties. But first, I want to talk about Camille and the backlash that she's been getting on social media. Just because she said she wanted a man with swag and everybody's going in, including myself. I went in on her too for a little bit in one of my videos. That, you don't have any swag, Camille. You not black. You don't act black, Camille. You don't have no swag. Someone even said, you not like Young Miami. Okay, let's stop right there.
We don't want to embarrass somebody like me in front of my family and my community.
First of all, I'm going to say this, and it's been said before. Black people are not a monolith. There's not hood and bougie. There's a whole spectrum of black people. You don't have, just because she says Thomas doesn't have swag, does not mean that she wants a thug. I mean, there's a whole middle ground of black men that aren't thugs, that have that R&B smoothness that she's talking about. And I know that a lot of people will say, well, if that R&B smoothness of the dudes with swag works, then why are you on Married at First Sight? I was about to say Married to Madison. But why is Thomas on Married at First Sight? Have y'all asked that question? Have you asked that question? It's all pointing the finger at Camille. She don't have swag. She's matronly. So she is. But there is, and I don't think she and Thomas are the same. And all these women saying she's corny, she's bad because she's, bringing up that he seems like she's in an interracial relationship. How many of y'all will date Thomas? I'm waiting.
Never knew that to be true. I just thought it was fun.
How many of you would actually date Thomas? Most of you are the girls who will say he's corny. He's whack. He's a nerd. He's a dweeb. He's lame. He's a lame. Y'all wouldn't date Thomas. Okay, and speaking of somebody else y'all wouldn't date, since we're going to move on. Someone else you wouldn't date. EKG. EKG is always feeling himself, but the truth of the matter is he's very insecure, but he thinks he deserves better than MM or Ememe or whatever her name is. He thinks he's better than her. He thinks he deserves someone hotter than her. It's obvious. It's written all over his goofy face. Does he have swag? Does EKG or EKG, whatever his name is, Ike, does he have swag? Is that R&B smoothness that y'all will accept? Most of y'all would say he's corny too. So why are we dogging out Camille? But anyhow, EKG showed his colors, his true colors, although I've seen him from jump. I can always look at people and kind of tell their personalities. I knew he was going to be like this. Douche City. There's a word for him, but you can't say it on YouTube in the first 3 or 4 minutes. But it's going to be and ends with ness. That's what EKG is. He is such one of those dudes who just complains about everything. I mean, MM said she ordered fish tacos. I could have made fish tacos. Well, you should have told me. I mean, I could have made them. All you got to do is, pull them apart, pull some fish apart. And no, that's not how you make fish tacos. And I thought you were vegan. So you definitely don't know anything about making fish tacos. Because most fish it's not shredded chicken, like tinga. It's not like that. You season it. First of all, you have to season it. And maybe sprinkle, grill it. Maybe put some lime juice on it. Some cilantro. But don't just say just pull it apart and put it in a taco. That's not what you do with fish tacos. I've never bought a fish taco that was shredded. I've even bought them with batter or either grilled, not shredded and pulled apart. Anyhow, he's a jerk. I know I went off on this whole recipe thing, but Ikeji's a jerk.
Scream. Punk ass bitch.
And the way the proof that he was a jerk is when she mentioned her cousin was coming over, and he's like, I'm not scared. Okay, aren't we adults here? Aren't you educated? And he said, I had a lot to do. What did you have to do, Ikeji? What did you have to really do? I mean, you live in Chicago, you're from Houston, you moved to Chicago. You moved to Chicago not for this high-powered job. You moved to Chicago to be a college counselor for high schoolers. That's what people are missing. He's not a college counselor in college. He works at a high school, I believe. I don't know this for fact, but that's what it sounded like when he said what he does for a living. So how busy are you really, Ikeji? You just didn't want to come and be at the party with the friends because you were going to get some tough questions. And then let me just talk about production in these parties. Ikeji was telling MM's friend and cousin that, they asked him, like, what are 5 words you would use to describe Ikeji? He said aggressive was one of those. And, that's a trigger word to black women. It's not a trigger word to me. It depends on who's saying it. Because you know what a trigger word to me is? Why are you so hard? And I'm thinking, hard? I'm not hard. That's trigger to me. Like, don't call me hard. Why are you so tough? I'm like, I'm not tough. But black women we don't like to be collectively called aggressive because that's just code for angry. And that's just code for we don't like you because you. And then now the buzzword is you masculine. But he didn't call her masculine, but that's pretty much what he was saying, that she's aggressive. But he likes, her drive. But he never answers the questions clearly or directly. It's always an indirect passive aggressive answer that he gives. But here's the thing what production does. They were acting like they were filming a TV show like they do on sitcoms or on telenovelas or on dramas. We're going to go over here and we're going to talk. MM and Ikeji's friends were like 3 feet away, as if they couldn't hear that. And that's what it's like. Come on now. Y'all could have at least left the room to make it seem like there was some distance. This isn't a sitcom. They can hear you.
It bugged the heck out of Dina and me.
And it wasn't like there was loud music playing that they couldn't hear them. So that's just one of my complaints. Okay, and speaking of complaining, Michelle and David are still playing this stupid game. What can I do to impress you? I don't know. I mean, just don't even try anymore because it's a wrap for us. She didn't say that, but I mean, it's a wrap and we all know it.
We gotta break up.
I wish production of Married at First Sight would act like the production of Ultimatum and let the people just walk away, because you can still have a show with them walking away, which they kind of did last season, or was it a few seasons ago with Alyssa, Alyssa, I'm a good person. They kind of let that happen, but let the people walk away and follow them as they go dating. And I know that makes you lose credibility of Married at First Sight, but it would work out better. So, David and Michelle have their party, and it's still a wrap. But, David's friend checked Michelle. He was like, you paid $23.50 for your rent in that box you live in, that simple box. And I paid $12.50 for something I own, which is the truth.
For every dummy, there's a dummy.
Of Chicago living, because I used to live in Chicago. At one point, this was in the early 2000s, I paid like $900 a month. This was in the early days when rent was still fairly okay on the north side. I paid that. Well, this doesn't make sense because it's going to make it seem like I paid more for a little 1-bedroom. It was a 1-bedroom, $900. And then I bought a place, and my original mortgage was like $1,200 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath place with granite and all that stuff. It makes sense to buy. And then she's paying $2,300 to rent out a shoebox. And mind you, I know what these apartments look like.
I was shocked, honey. I was in tears almost. And it has a white refrigerator. I was like, oh, not a white refrigerator. Girl, please put your shoes on. Let's go find you a home, honey. Ooh.
She's wasting her money, and she's thinking she's better than David. And his friend says he's stacking his money. I want to see if that's true. He may be stacking his money, but his house is still disgusting. And who wants to be there with you? Who wants to form a relationship with somebody who lives in a dungeon? I wouldn't. I mean, he lives in a dungeon, but he's proud of that dungeon because he says he's stacking money. He's saving for his nest egg, which is for his wife, which is admirable if it's true. But still, looking at where you live, David, it just looks like you live like a pigsty. And if I move in with you, I'm going to be fighting you to clean up or fighting you for get rid of some of the clutter. So it's still a no for Michelle, although I'm not letting her off the hook. She's nasty and she's a jerk.
On me like that.
So nasty.
And that's what happened.
So rude.
And she's whiny. And I still say she's fighting her past because she grew up, as she says, I grew up humble beginnings. And that's what it is. She thinks she's come so far from where she came. But guess what? You're still paying rent. You're wasting that money on rent. Just move to the south side. You can get something real nice on the south side. Anyhow, so what's her name? I was about to say Mirla. Carla. Mirla from the other season. Carla and Juan, they have no chemistry at all. And it's clear. They had a party. It was a toga party. Juan was acting like he did all the work. He was doing all the cleaning and Carla did nothing. And here's another thing. Everybody online is down on Carla saying she doesn't want to do anything. She's not good. I feel like she's peeped Juan's game. Juan is selfish. Juan wants his way. It's his way or the highway. He wants to do what he wants to do. And if you're not along for the ride, so be it. So he's not really ready to be married. He just wanted to be on the show so he could keep saying he has 2 startups. I have 2 startups. He wanted to pump up that business. Maybe he couldn't say what his business was because maybe they put in a clause like Bravo did, a Bethany clause. Because remember when old girl in Tennessee kept talking about her hair salon all the time and she wore t-shirts? Maybe they said, oh no, you're not advertising your business, Juan, but you could talk about it. But he's selfish and they have no chemistry. No chemistry at all. But I think people need to give Carla a break. They're not into each other and that's fine, but stop making it seem, and they're giving Carla this edit of she doesn't like to work. She's lofty. She's frivolous. She has her head in the clouds. She wants to be taken care of. When I think, from the after show, she's basically setting her boundaries. Like she said, she used to just follow in and just follow the guy. Now she's like, look, you want this toilet clean, you clean it because you're the one that blows it up. I mean, I'm sure everybody blows it up at some point, but I'm sure Juan blows it up. And he wants to come off as this fun guy when he's really not. He's just mean and selfish. And speaking about mean and selfish, let's go to Madison and Allan. She's mean and selfish. She thinks that, Allan has to do all this stuff to, gain her love when she'll never love. She's someone else who's not ready for marriage. And they were taking shots. She did do something nice by hosting a surprise party for him for his birthday, but then got mad because he had one too many shots and didn't show up to flag football. And she was mad about that because she wanted him to see that she was the linebacker that she really is in flag football. But you know what? And by the end of the episode, what's her name? Carla says kissing Juan is like kissing her brother. So we know where that's going. Nowhere fast. All right, so hit the like and subscribe button. I didn't expect this to be that long. All right, bye.